Morning students, today we are going to read the poem A Tiger in the Zoo, which is written by Leslie Norris. This poem talks about a tiger who is in the zoo, and in this poem poet has described a contrast between a life of a tiger in a zoo and a life of a tiger in his natural habitat. The main theme of the poem is that animals should not be kept in the zoo. They should be free to live in their natural habitat. So here poet is giving us this message through the poem. Let's start the poem now. This poem contrasts the tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. Read the poem silently once and say which stanza speak about the tiger in the zoo and which one speak about the tiger in the jungle. So in this poem, as it is been discussed above, this whole poem is in contrast, and these paragraphs are in contrast with each other. So in the first paragraph, poet is saying that he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet or in his quiet rage. So here, first of all, a poetic device is used here. Personification is used here. A tiger is referred as he, not it. Why? Because here we are talking about the feelings, we are talking about the emotions of the tiger. So we have personified tiger. That is why he is used here. So he stalks in his vivid stripes. Vivid means prominent. So tiger here walks in his prominent stripes. We all know that tiger has stripes on his body, and he is taking few steps in his cage. This line refers that the cage is very short. That is why tiger is just able to take few steps in his cage, and he is moving very quietly here on his velvety paws. Here on pads of velvet quiet is a metaphor. Why it is metaphor? Because we all know that when tiger walks, it doesn't make any noise. Why? Because he has very soft velvety paws. So here this velvet quiet, pads of velvet quiet, is a contrast, which is put in contrast with the soft paws of tiger on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. So he is quietly moving here and there, and his rage, his anger is also quiet. Why? Because he is in cage and he is not able to express his anger. So he is just quietly moving here and there, quietly residing his anger in himself only. In next paragraph, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. So this second paragraph is in contrast with the first paragraph. In first paragraph, poet is telling us about the tiger which is in zoo, and in second paragraph he is just suggesting us that what tiger will do if he is in his natural habitat. So what he will do, he will be lurking in shadow. Lurking means he will be hiding behind the trees, in the trees. He will be sliding through long grass. Sliding means he will be moving smoothly through the long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass, and he will be going to the water hole, near of the water hole where those plump deer, plump means where those healthy and soft deer will be passing. So what he will be doing if he is in natural habitat, he will be moving here and there, he will be hiding behind the shadows, he will be smoothly moving through the long grass, he will be going to the water hole where he will find out those soft and plumpy deers to hunt out. So in the third paragraph, this third paragraph is in contrast with the fourth one. So he says he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. So what he will be doing, he will be snarling around houses. Snarling means he will be roaring, he will be roaring around the houses at the jungle's edge. At the jungle edge means where the jungle ends. So what he will be doing, he will be going into the villages, into the vicinity areas, and he will be roaring there, he will be growling there, and baring his white fangs, his claws. Baring means showing his white fangs. Fangs mean teeth, and his claws, terrorizing the village. So what he will be doing in his natural habitat, he will be moving here and there into the village. He will be terrorizing the people by snarling, by roaring, by showing his white fangs and his claws. But it is not the real picture. Why? Because this third paragraph is in contrast with fourth one, because now this tiger is in zoo, is not in his natural habitat. So what he will be doing, but he is locked in a concrete cell. So what he is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete means the which is made up of iron and bricks. So he is in this iron brick cell. His strength behind the bar. His strength is also behind the bar. He is not able to show his strength because he is in cage. We know that in cage he could not do anything. He could not harm anyone. So he is just harmless animal there, and he is stalking the length of his cage. He will be stalking the length of his cage. He will be ignoring the visitors. He is ignoring the visitors. He is stalking the length of his cage. He is locked in that concrete cell. So in last paragraph, what he will be doing, he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars. So he will be listening to the last voice at night, which is the last voice will be of the patrolling cars, the cars which are patrolling, having a final check on the animals which are logged properly or not. So he will be listening to that final patrolling voice of the patrolling cars, and stares with the brilliant eyes at the brilliant star. So here poet has used brilliant for his eyes and word brilliant for the stars also. Why? Because tiger has brilliant eyes, as brilliant as the stars. So here he will be staring at the with his brilliant eye to the brilliant stars, because that is what he can do in the cage. So that is what your whole poem is about. Read this poem again and again so that you will be able to understand the meanings.